And good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Star Wars Out in the Dark. My name is Will. I'll be your storyteller this evening. Last we left off, we were missing two of our players, and today we're only missing one, so we're moving on up. And where we left off is in the repair bay, kind of focusing on Dr. Shakti and Edie as they kind of had some moments together. They fixed Barnaby. They Frankensteined an amalgam of droid bodies for Edie, so that now he is a walking terror. But Dr. Shakti was shown a hollow view of the farming, and I use the term loosely, that is happening on Edie's planet. The good doctor met the young apprentice to the banker named Sheev for the first time and was asked about the voice that had come out of their mouth. At the same time, the doctor tried to access parts of their memory and was kind of teased and taunted and was given some memories that perhaps they didn't want back. There was an image of their brother, a male and a female Jedi, sitting across the table from them and their master. And the name Nella kind of rang with a new purpose in them. They were all reminded that if they need the banker for anything, that they can find him on Naboo. And then radio managed to show them a little cubbyhole of illicit droid parts to help them with whatever endeavor they needed to. And they were also introduced to C1A3, or SIA, as they are commonly referred to on the ship, the ship's protocol and translator droid. Dr. Shakti tried to take some free time to meditate, but found it difficult to find inner peace on the ship. But they did discover that they were disconnected from Flid the most. And then, as the voice continued to taunt, they were shown an image of some kind of skirmish on Naboo between insurgents and the Republic, where they pulled down an entire cliff wall in a surge of power. They were taken back to the dinner with their brother Drox, their master, and the human Jedi named Doman and his apprentice named Nella. And they discovered that they were probably the ones responsible for their brother Drox being a paraplegic. And then they were shown an ice planet where they were in the midst of disassembling their lightsaber and noticing that their lightsaber crystal, their kyber crystal, was cracked and etched with black veins. But they also felt that ancient impatience that is bubbling up inside of them, and their vision ended with the face of an old friend in Yandro and the image of the landing ramp of the Neverwhere. And the simple, dark voice with a simple no, and the vision of their master falling into the open chasm, almost as if he had been pushed off the ramp. In a moment of lightness, however, Dr. Shakti was taught to play chess by Edie, and then they had a nice heart-to-heart with Krilla about the loss of Marcuun, or Dolvin, if you're nasty. They talked about her love and what home meant to each of them, and then they reached out with the Force to try and console her and to try to see what was going to become of this child. And Edie saw one of the possible futures that the child could take, and there were trophy skulls fastened to the hull of the ship, as well as humanoid skulls inside the ship. And in the pilot's seat was a humanoid that he could tell was this child. At its belt was Edie's own lightsaber. The outside the cockpit was the blue and white of the hyperspace tunnel. In one of the rooms was Flid, chained to the wall like a slave, and this humanoid was hitting him forcibly with anger and malice in his attacks. Then the vision took him and this child that had become a man of darkness, or a woman, an adult of darkness, into the room where he saw a larger version of himself, his crystal, having grown. And the vision ended as the humanoid ignited a red lightsaber and cut him in twain. They gave Krilla a medical checkup, and they learned that the child was advanced for its stage. And as everything turned out for the best as far as Krilla's health is concerned, one of the last things that we got was the voice creeping back up about the loss of Dr. Shakti's family and how Edie was a hypocrite about not facing his own hatred and inner darkness. And we left off with them arriving at the system called Hyranth Hall, where they're about to meet Jiks for the first time. And this is where we find our trio of characters. I mean, it looks like Katie's playing DJ Hero with her camera, but that's okay.
Sorry, I was cleaning the screen.
Oh, hold
Excuse
on.
me.
The layout's really pretty.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I actually also forgot to put up the... I thought I had the Star Wars book, and I don't. I forgot to add that to my layout.
Oh. Well, we look good, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. But the three of you have had 3 weeks of hyperspace travel. And as radio announces that you are arriving in the system, first thing you notice is that there is a pulsing, kind of blue, kind of yellow star at its center. The furthest planet out on the map, on the star map, is called Maravost. It is a large ringed planet with no moons, but it is encircled on 3 of its axes by heavy clusters of rock and ice. The concentric circles are mere degrees off of each other, orbit-wise, but there are moments where the other planets are not in the direct line of starlight that makes it out to it, and some of the gases and some of the gravitational kind of waves become really visible in the ice mist, and it almost makes it look like a kind of stellar webbing has kept these rings where they are. The next planet in to the system is Norris. It is a violently stormy planet. It has an extreme axis with a large angle of wobble, as it's called, and it has a cadre of wild atmospheric disturbances. It also is flanked by 2 moons, Thinta, which is tide-locked on a sub-equatorial orbit, and Ralost, which orbits in a counterspin to Thinta and its super-equatorial route. The next planet in is Buntal Prime, which is a tiny gas giant of a planet that has 6 hefty moons, all of them kind of orbiting out from the home planet, labeled for their distance from Buntal 1 to Buntal 6, where the ship is currently headed. Next down the line is Gurinth, which is an aquatic world with a spattering of volcanic islands, and it has chunks of land masses that are revealed during low tide and submerged during high tide. And it has a single moon called Bacchus. And the closest planet to the star itself is called Holland. It is also tide-locked one way always faces the sun, the other way always faces the cold space. It is labeled uninhabitable, but it does have a small atmosphere that is made up of acidic clouds, mostly on the ringed line of demarcation that separates the baking side from the cold, frigid side. And then Hyranth Prime is a light blue, almost yellow star at the center of the system, and it is currently pulsing, which Edie will remember means that when a star pulses, it's currently shifting from one temperature to the next. So it looks like it's shifting from a blue star to a yellow star.
Fun fact, Doctor. If you notice, the star is pulsing, which means that it is changing temperatures.
Oh, that's interesting. Is it
Is
getting
it
hotter?
not?
Colder? I'm just
Well,
kidding, Edie.
It's your move, please.
There is, as you enter the system, a small pulse of what looks like an old, what's it called? A distress signal. But otherwise, the ship is continuing to move past Maravost currently. It's making its way into the orbit of Norris before moving into Bionto Prime.
There's a distress signal where?
It is coming from one of the moons in the Norris orbit. It looks like it's coming from Thinta.
Captain? Captain?
Yes. Yes. Sorry,
Should we...
I'm not used to being called captain yet. Sorry.
No, I understand. Should we investigate the distress signal? It is more or less the right thing to do.
You're absolutely right there, Edie. Shakti, how are we doing with Krilla and her pregnancy?
I mean, she's not going to give birth anytime soon, I'd say. I mean, I think. When's the last time I checked on her?
It was the beginning of the week.
And was it the
She's-
child developing any more rapidly?
She's what, 2 months in? It's what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only been 3 weeks.
No, I'm just asking just to make sure. You know, we're good with schedule. Get her to safety and everything, but a distress call should be answered. Because you never know, could be somebody that's in need of help as well. Oh man, give me a moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're doing really well.
Yes, I agree. It is a tough call.
Yes, I hold on. I can't think on an empty stomach. I need to. I go grab something in the kitchen right there since we're on that area.
Yeah.
Grab like a pastry.
Okay. There's a couple left. You're running dangerously low on pastries.
Oh, I'm gonna have to start making some more pastries.
Yeah.
Plus, I know that's all Dr. Shakti eats because she doesn't like my cooking.
At all.
It's not true. I just don't need much sustenance.
Okay, it's okay, Doctor. I understand. I'm gonna give you a captain's direct order that you have to eat everything that the chef cooks.
Got it, Captain.
A direct order. It's okay.
Yeah. Power corrupts, huh?
I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying. I'm trying.
You're doing great.
Okay. So
Do you want to play a round of chess? Will that ease your mind?
um oh, as a captain and the chef of this ship, things have to be running accordingly, and unfortunately, I don't got time for chess.
Nice.
But I do have time to answer this distress call. Let's set ordinance that distress signal then, Edie, if you don't mind telling radio to head on over.
Where is radio?
He's around. He has taken it upon himself not to be in the cockpit ever since Silas and Flit have kind of been in there learning how to pilot.
So Silas is piloting.
No, Silas is off in his own room.
Right,
I'll go grab radio then. Let him know that we want to investigate the distress signal.
yeah, and
Captain's orders.
guess I'll go and pilot as well. Ship.
Okay. Radio.
Silas.
Yeah, radio interfaces with the computer. It turns off the self piloting and kind of shifts trajectories, and you see as you come around to the moon of Thinta, you can see that part of it, the half that is tide locked towards the planet, looks like it is a lush kind of terrestrial, very dark world, whereas the other one looks a little lighter, a little less flora, and what looks to be a little bit more fauna. And in orbit, excuse me, there is a gray kind of flattened sea turtle of a ship. Edie would recognize it as a classic kind of Geetrock freighter. It has black and red markings coming out from the cockpit and out towards the center of the ship itself, and kind of spiraling out towards the four what would be fins. And its name is the Fane's Rise. It looks like it sustained some heavy damage. One of its engines is kind of flickering on and off.
Radio. Let's not fly in too close. Let's take precaution. I'm piloting the ship, so never mind. That's what I'm gonna do. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you'll take controls.
I'll take control and ease off, and just to do a quick surveillance to see what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. All right. Let's see you put your new skill to the test, and let's have you roll your space transport.
Ooh, you got
Oh boy.
this.
Oh boy. The space transport. We go.
Space transport. 10. I
Oh
have
my
a
gosh.
4 die plus 1.
Can I do what? How can I use my character points? Because
The
it's
10 is fine. It's not a difficult. It's not a difficult roll for you to come in and keep your
I was like,
distance.
man, about to, man.
Yeah.
This little rose.
But yeah, as you kind of come up, you're a good maybe kilometer away from it. Like 5 kilometers away from it. You can see that there's some movement suddenly in the cockpit. As they see that you've kind of approached them, and after a moment, you see what looks to be a purple kind of shape come into the cockpit, and then there's the little sound of you being hailed. You want to answer it?
Answer the call.
Okay. Do you have communications, or do you want to let radio handle that?
I'll let radio handle communications.
Okay.
Communications.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I have 3 dice in
Then
communications.
roll it.
Yeah, I'll let Edie do it then.
Oh wow,
17.
17. It's easy enough to kind of answer the call. You rolled high enough. Do you want to patch it through the intercom of the ship so everybody can hear it, or do you just want to keep it in the cockpit? Yeah. Okay. So even Dr. Shakti, Krilla, Silas, they can all hear the conversation as you hear. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your ship's name, but we appreciate you coming over. Can we get a tow maybe? Do you have a tractor beam? This is Captain Pris Leonard, by the way, of the Fane's Rise.
Then what was that?
She says, "It's Captain Pris Leonard. Who am I talking to?"
Captain Pris Laner, this is Captain Flid. Yeah, Captain Flid. Yep, that's me. It's me, Captain Flid.
All right, Captain. Nice to
Hi.
meet you.
Howdy. Hi. How you doing?
Good. So do you have a tractor beam or anything of that sort on your ship?
Radio, do we have a tractor beam?
Radio shakes his dome back and forth like a no.
We do not have a tractor beam.
Oh, I understand.
Oh,
That's gonna make things a little bit difficult then.
yes. What seems to be the problem though, Captain Pris?
And that's when you feel a sudden tug, and you see two of its tractor beam projectors kind of come onto the ship and start to pull it closer.
Captain Pris, what are you doing?
I hope you don't mind that we're just gonna take what we need to finish our repairs and then be on our way.
Can I ready in action?
I'm sorry. Take what?
And you just see it start to turn on some of its repulsor lift engines and push itself into a position above you.
Oh, great,
What?
man! Like 3
So
weeks
this
as captain, and this is already happening to me.
Are we in close enough range where I could get into their systems?
No.
No? All right. Can then when we are, I would like to turn their hyperdrive on.
Wait, don't.
You,
I don't know. Never mind.
they're pointed at you.
Oh no.
Okay, so
Can
then
I
I
do
thought they were
anything
above us. Okay.
using the force? Can I like get those beams off of us?
No, the tractor beams are a form of energy, and you are not trained in any of the arts that would help you in any way, shape, or form with this.
Edie, I need you in the cockpit right away.
Yes.
And radio, I need you both hands on deck right now. Get these repulsor tractor beams off us, please.
I'm gonna turn the communications off.
Okay, it's a simple enough thing.
Just so they can stop listening to us.
Good call.
Yes.
Yes, take these tractor beams off us, and as soon as they're off, I want you to get us into hyperspace, into our current, back to our current.
Get us into hyperspace. That's easy.
Yeah, but we need the tractor beams off us. Or we can just drag them along with us.
Yeah,
I-
right? Isn't that the thing? They need to get out of there. I don't know. I think it's weird that they just like hitched right on without even asking. I think that's
Ye-
a little sketchy. I feel like it's a
I,
trap.
I think so too. I think they're trying to board and take our supplies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, yes,
that's what it
this was
sounds like.
absolutely a trap.
This was a trap. I led us into a trap. Great.
No, it was more of a consolidated group effort.
Yeah, we all were in agreement.
Should we radio? Can you just turn on the hyperdrive?
He beeps and boops at you for a good like 30 seconds,
Okay.
explaining
What does he say?
how hybrid he explains to you how tractor beams tend to create a space of dead space kind of. So there none of the hyperdrive computation will work because you're not technically considered in space.
Okay.
Can we ask Radio if there's anything he can think of?
Are we close enough that I could just turn their tractor beam off?
It's a stretch. You'd have to stretch out further than you've done before.
That's fine. Let's do it. I'm 22, and then I'm gonna add. I'm gonna do a character, 2 character points roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay.
Gotta get back on communications and try to contact this Captain Pris.
30.
Yeah.
Come.
Does that get me a force point back or no?
No, it's 31 or
Okay, it
higher.
has to be a natural. Okay.
And it has to be an unmodified roll.
I figured that much. I thought it was safe to ask.
Yeah, excuse me. So you stretch out, and at the edge of where you've kind of been comfortable, you don't sense anything, any components of the ship, and you push yourself further out still. There's nothing, and it is when you are at your near breaking point that you start to scrape the first kind of inklings of their sensor field, and you start to ride that, kind of letting it push you further and further out, and there's a moment where you touch on something that you imagine is the tractor beam because you've never dealt with one before.
Mhm.
And you just yell out with everything you're being to just shut off. And there's a moment where your ship rocks, and then you see Edie just kind of collapse backwards, frozen.
What?
But the ship is no longer attached.
Oh no.
Are we good? Is that good, Edie?
There's no response.
I think that we should get out of here. I say to Flid, and then I mean, I have first aid. Is that anything? Can I do? Or reach through the force and see like if he's okay, if they're okay.
I mean, you could try to reach to the force. Yeah, so let's have Flid do space transports, and we'll have Dr. Shakti make a sense roll.
I'm gonna pilot us out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, 16.
So it's gonna waste the opportunity. Just get us out of here.
16.
I'll be fine.
10.
But I don't know that. I just see you fall backwards.
Yeah. So immediately you feel the ship lurch as the engines kick in full force, and Flid just starts to come around the moon towards the actual planet. How do you want to get to Beyond 6? Do you want to go through the kind of stormy planet that is Norris, or do you want to just kind of go around it?
Definitely go around it.
Okay.
I'm sure the rest of the crew will agree on safe travels, especially after what we just experienced.
Oh, sure. So let's see if Pris can keep up.
For a second there, I thought I was about to see my pastries come back up. Good.
Yeah, you hear what you can only imagine is the sound of an overstressed engine coming to life, and you can hear that they're following you. Do you have sensors so you can keep an eye on them?
Ship or like us?
No, like skills, the skill sensors.
I got no senses.
Edie
Okay.
I
does.
have sensors. I have 3 in sensors.
Oh, let's have you make a roll. 7 with a 1 on the wild die.
Oh, no! Can I add a character point after?
Yeah, but you're still gonna have the complication.
Okay.
I think you'll be
Still
fine as
gonna
is.
do it.
Okay.
Right. So I go down 1 character point, and then what do I roll? How do I do that?
There's a section right next to that. Where it
Yeah,
says
character points roll.
yeah, character points roll. 5 more. Yeah, so you can keep the sensors kind of actively on them. And you see that whether or not they're making leeway and things like that. It it takes a moment for you to kind of set yourself up, only because there's still the image of Edie kind of sprawled out on the floor. And when you stretched out with the force, there was a kind of semblance of tiredness. It felt like how you would have felt after running a mile, just after like having woken up. Um, you kind of feel that kind of level of tiredness from it.
Okay.
But otherwise, his life readings are nominal.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I thank you. That's what I say to ED.
And you see radio kind of hovering over him. And as you guys are running from this other ship, you suddenly hear a click, click, and then just a like a steady flame, and the whole cockpit is suddenly bathed in like a red and orange light that suddenly starts to spark white as radio blowtorches a curly mustache onto Edie's head with the little triangular Van Dyke under the lip. And then you just see it turns off the blowtorch, and then there's like boop boop boop, and you see him happily roll out of the cockpit.
Radio, why'd you do that, radio? Why'd you do that? Oh, Edie's not gonna like this. Maybe he won't notice. Maybe he'll notice.
Yeah.
How's he doing, Doc? How's Edie doing?
Edie's fine. They're really, really tired and they need a rest, but they're gonna be
Besides
fine.
besides that little makeover that radio just gave.
Yeah, we'll see how they're doing when they discover that.
As you come around the stormy planet, and you can see Biontal Prime just in the distance beyond, there's a moment where from between the planets you see a Republic cruiser start to make its way out from the orbiting moons. And as it gets closer to you, you see on the sensors that the Fane's rise pulls away and starts to go back behind the moon of Thinta.
Okay.
You think we should tell the Republic about their shady dealings of that Fane's rise?
That's up to you, Captain.
Where's Silas? What is he doing? He was uh I get on the communications. Oh, this is your captain speaking. Your chef. Um, making sure everybody's all right with that little cup we had with the tractor beam. And also I have a question. Silas, could use your advice. Have a moment. You can come up to the cockpit. Right.
You don't get any response from anyone.
Good. Uh, this is not good. Public, I don't know.
I mean, it's a toss-up, right? Because like we don't want to look like we're doing something wrong, but also, do we trust the Republic?
It has not opened communication channels as you've started your fly beyond them.
I mean, what if they question us, we say what happened, but maybe we don't reach out?
Yes, but what if somebody else falls for that distress signal like we did?
It's fair. Do you
We
have enough
managed to.
faith in the Republic that they will do something about it? That they aren't in cahoots?
I just look up at Dr. Shakti with the look like, really? I don't really trust him at all after what happened.
Yeah, same.
I started like touching like the dashboard of the cockpit. I'm like, talk to me, boys. Talk to me. What should your dear old dad do? I open communications to the Republic.
Okay.
Republic ship.
It's a very fast communications as they have a dedicated crew to that. And you just hear, this is Republic Cruiser. I'll tell you right now what it's called. I had it written down somewhere.
Currently have a bunch of people who just fled Bespin.
This is Republic Cruiser Myriad. How can I be of service? How can we be of service?
Oh, Marion?
Yep. Myriad?
Jared? Hi, this is Captain Flid of the Zek, and I just wanted to report there was a ship following us. I'm not sure if you noticed the Fane's rise.
Captain Grilled, we are showing that we did have two distinct engine markers, but we're only
Right.
showing yours right now. What was the name of the ship that was chasing you?
Fane's rise. I think they might have failed back after they saw your ships.
Hmm.
The reason I'm reporting them is because they had sent out a distress signal, and we went to help out and see if we could be of any use to help. But when we got there, they tried to pull us in with their tractor beam and tried to commandeer and hijack our ship and supplies. I believe so. We managed to escape and avoid, and now I'm having this conversation with you.
Captain Grilldime showing that the Fane's Rise does have a marker of bounty on its title, and that I'm showing that there is no currently attached captain to its roster. But we will make the note. Thank you for your.
He did mention a name. I did speak to a quote unquote captain, Captain Pris Leonard.
Hmm.
Leonard.
We will make a note of that and add that to the roster of aliases captaining the ship.
Just would hate to have some other unfortunate person.
Of course, we
In
appreciate
a unfortunate ship
we
that
appreciate the
distress signal like
information.
we did.
And you see as it maybe like a couple minutes as you finish passing the Republic cruiser, you see a squadron of fighters kind of fly out of one of its holds and make its way over to the moon.
Boys.
Good job, Captain. Sounds like you did the right thing.
The Zodzek did. I just need a moment myself. I'll be back, and I set it on autopilot. The ship.
Okay.
I head towards my room.
Is Katie gonna stay in the cockpit with Edie, or are they going to just leave him there?
Is there anywhere like I mean, how heavy are they? Can I just like move them somewhere that's like not laying in the middle of the cockpit? That's like a resting kind of area.
Yeah. It isn't too difficult to move them out of the way. Lifting and kind of placing would be a little bit more difficult.
Okay. Well, I want to move them carefully. Like, I'm not going to just like scratch them up on the floor, you know, like I'll put a blanket or something down and move them gently. But yeah,
Okay.
somewhere out of the way.
Yeah. Radio kind of just watches the whole thing.
How is Krilla? She okay?
She's a little concerned over what happened, and she's kind of like standing in the doorway, looking out as you drag Edie out into the common area. But her and Hattie kind of just stand there. Is everything okay?
Yeah, he helped us out very much. Ed helped us out very much back there. So, but did something, and now they're really, really tired. So they're just resting it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand all the intricacies of how that being works, but I don't understand the intricacies of how a lot of beings work.
I mean, she looks over at it and she's like, I mean, it's a droid. Can't you just
No,
turn it off and turn it back on again?
no, no, he's not exactly a droid.
Yeah. And you see that as you say that, radio kind of beeps and boops behind you, and then you just see like a little work arm come out and grab Edie's hand and kind of lift it and then drop it, like showing it that it's just a dead body. And then it just comes over, it rolls over to like where the head of Edie is and just starts kind of banging on it, like clank, 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 clank.
I go over and have him stop doing that. You know, please stop, radio.
Yeah. He kind of swivels around and he just goes up to Krilla and just beeps and boops at her. And she kind of looks down and is like, I think I understand. Thank you. Yeah, you've done enough. And radio kind of whistles as he makes his way back downstairs.
Did they not? I thought that they both knew.
No,
Did
no.
only Krilla know?
Did you guys tell them what Edie was? So
Yeah.
that I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Had a conversation because
We-
she had said that Silas told her, but she didn't really like believe it.
We told someone on the ship that we're on right now that I am not all that I seem. And then I remember showing everybody just like, also, this is me. This
Okay.
is who I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think they know.
Yeah.
I think they know, but they don't really like understand. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she'll kind of make a non-understanding notion of it, and then the radio will go through all of that again. Um, I did enjoy that profusely. But a few minutes go by, and the proximity alarm goes off, letting you know that you are heading into the orbit of Biontal 6. And as you come into this planet, it is a temperate kind of lush green moon that looks to have a single large man-made structure, which is the Republic base that's currently being constructed or reconstructed. And you can see farmlands kind of dotting the landscape. There's no real place to land except at the Republic base, unless you want to try to land on just some of the actual earth and dirt. But it is pointing to one farm in particular as far as where it desires to land.
I get like, because I'm in my room right now. Do I get an update or?
Yeah, the proximity alarm is for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. I started looking towards the cockpit. And I put down my data tablet.
Mhm.
Put it down. And I just went towards the cockpit.
Yeah. And again, you have your choice of either landing at the Republic base or landing outside the farm, trying to find a place to land.
Oh, land outside the farm.
Okay.
And I get under the comms and I'm like, let everybody on the ship know that prepare for our arrival and landing.
All right. Go ahead and make a space
And
transport roll to land. If you can find
give them
a safe place to land.
an ETA of when
Yeah.
we'll be landing.
Yeah. 15. Very nice. It isn't too difficult to scope out, kind of hover in place for a while, for a little moment, and kind of find your bearings as far as the farm is concerned. And you can see what looks to be a droid come out and a small humanoid. And as it sees your ship kind of finding a place to land, and then it kind of goes over and makes touchdown. Excuse me. You'll see it get onto like a repulsor lift sled and start making its way over to where you landed. Um, but you make a nice touchdown on what feels like solid earth underneath you. Uh, and anyone that's near Edie will suddenly see it come back to life.
Hey.
Hello.
I don't know. I guess I'm in there. Where did I?
Hey.
I just moved him out of the way.
I thought you just said hey.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello?
There is a slight difference to your voice,
Don't do this to me.
as there are now 3 new holes where the sound can escape from.
Everything from me.
How would you like your voice to have changed, sir?
3 new holes.
Yeah. The
Somewhat
mustache
bad.
and the little triangle of the Van Dyke beard.
Hello? How's it going? We're Irish now.
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
Irish, but still Edie.
Yeah.
It's just Edie with an Irish accent.
Wow.
Where's Edie at? Is he in the cockpit?
No, he's in the common room.
Have we arrived?
I do believe we have.
That's good.
You see
Is
Krilla.
everything all right, Doctor?
You see Krilla and Hattie kind of come out.
Hello.
You seem to have developed a new way of being.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
All right.
I
Have
head
we
towards,
arrived?
I head towards the common area.
Hello.
You see Radio scan your face, Edie,
Yeah.
and then he projects a hollow image of what you look like now. And he kind of spins in place.
Turn the radio off. 27.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of jokes. I'm not really. Not really. It's gonna be. It's gonna have to be something we repair, Doctor.
Uh-huh.
What happened to Edie's voice?
Oh, it looks like that that radio made some alterations to my face.
And
Why do you
have
sound
they
like
developed an accent?
As one does.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
this ship and the crew? It just gets better and better every day.
Better and better.
I'm glad to see we're alive.
Thank you for that, Edie. Really, thank you for that. I'm glad nothing happened to you except, um, you know, I just pass him.
Yeah.
So, do you know where we are?
Krilla and Hattie already called the elevator.
Oh, all right. I get up.
I head towards them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go knock on Silas's door.
No answer.
Call for Barnaby.
He comes out of the little cat door at the bottom.
Mm. Hello.
He
Is
waves.
Silas all right?
He waves his hand and he kind of nods at you.
Oh. Do you want to go on an adventure?
He nods.
All right. Do you want to sit on my shoulder?
And he shakes his head, kind of walks past you towards the elevator.
Hey, Silas. I'm taking Barnaby on an adventure. Oh, by the way, it's Edie. I'll be fixing this sound later. I'll walk away.
Okay. So all of you descend down to the lower level where the landing ramp starts to descend. And you can see there is this kind of bulky farming droid that is sitting in the back of this repulsor lift sled, kind of like a like a floating pickup truck. And standing on the driver's side of this older model, you see this little humanoid. Must be just shy of 4 feet tall. Has this kind of face mask over his face. Its face. It's got the simple kind of overalls, a very comfortable shirt, and kind of messenger bag. And as you descend, it looks like it's looking past you. Excuse me, like it's waiting for somebody else. And then he sees Krilla, and he kind of goes up, and they hold hands for a moment. And then you hear, Jiks does not see Dolvin. Where is Dolvin? Jiks. Jiks is unhappy.
I like that voice.
And Krilla kind of bends down, and she whispers something in his ear, and then you just see him kind of slump down. Jiks is more unhappy now. And he kind of just sits on the end of the ramp.
I just stand there looking at everything from a for good respectful distance so they have their time.
Yeah. The air is amazingly fresh here. Having been on the ship for 3 weeks and breathing actual air, it is a nice change of pace for those of you that can breathe. The droid, you notice, kind of slides himself off of the bed of this truck and comes over and kind of kneels down in front of Jiks and just kind of holds out its hand. Jiks grabs it, kind of pats it caringly, and then you notice that it helps him kind of get up. And Jiks turns to the rest of you. You can see that there's little trails of moisture that have kind of seeped out of the side of his mask where his eyes would be. I mean, he looks up at the rest of you. Jiks is pleased to meet you. This is Jiks's home. This is Jiks's droid.
I walk
Hi.
towards him. Walk towards him. I put out my hand. Nice to meet you, Jiks. Flid.
He shakes it.
I'll do the same. I'm Dr. Shakti.
He shakes your hand as well.
I forgot how to do it.
Yep.
I'm Edie. Hello.
He shakes your hand. He takes a look at the size of the cargo hold and the entrance, and you see him kind of tap the big farmer droid, which is easily a good kind of 9 feet tall, 5 feet wide, just kind of like a trapezoid of gears and musculature that's built for like heavy lifting and things like that. And as he taps him, the chest cavity opens up, and you see these two smaller droids that look to be about maybe 3 feet tall each. They kind of pop out, and they they're kind of folded up into these compact kind of cylinders, and as they come out, they extend to their full height, which is almost like 5 feet tall. And you see emotions for them, and Krilla and Hattie kind of lead the two droids up to pick up Marcuun. And as they're doing that, Jiks looks out at the rest of you. And Jiks would like to know who killed his friend.
Wasn't it a Republic trooper?
It was a random trooper, but ideally, it really was the system. I'm looking for his name. Major Rames. That's who it was.
Yeah.
It was Republic Officer Major Rames.
Marcuun gave his life so we may continue with our lives. It was Major Rames. Wasn't alone either. Just looked down.
Jiks understands. Jiks has Republic friends.
Go up at Jiks.
Jiks will find it.
We have a lot to talk then, Jiks. What to talk about?
Yeah. He nods and he kind of goes over to the truck and he kind of pats the bed. Jiks will take you back to the house. It is comfortable.
Thank you, Jiks, for everything. Guess we'll go with them. Right?
It's the house.
House.
How far is it from us?
I don't hear you.
The house is maybe like 2 kilometers. The most. Couple minutes. Couple minutes by truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
By truck.
Silas is here in the ship. We should leave radio, which you turned off, and on security mode, just in case. This is not doing too good. I think he had a little bit too much of that gumbo from the other night.
Oh.
He's probably passed out. Too much of that gumbo tends to do that.
Jiks? Is it common for people to steal off your property?
Not from Jiks, no. Jiks has good standing. Jiks has
Think
good
we'll
neighbors.
be fine. But it's your call, Captain.
We'll leave radio on alert here with Silas, and let's help out with Krilla, Eddie, and Jiks. Unless one of you or you both want to stay. I definitely have a lot to talk to Jiks about.
I mean, yeah, I could go either way, but I guess why not go?
Well, I'm not a big fan of radio right now, but I'm fine with either one as well. Whatever you choose, Captain.
Stay on the ship, or you can along.
You see at that point, Krilla, Hattie, the two droids, they come down carrying Marcuun's body.
You need help.
They shake their head. There's a reverence and a kind of care to how they place him on the bed of the truck. And you see that even Jiks is kind of like standing there looking at what was the body of his friend, and there's a trepidation with which he kind of reaches out to hold his hand. And there's a moment where you can hear the kind of sniffling through the mask. And you just hear a very soft, Jiks can feel how cold he is. Jiks is sad.
We're all sad. Very sad.
And then he's like, Jiks will have to call Mao. Mao will help.
Um. Jiks. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one to tell you this.
Put my hand on Flint's shoulder.
It isn't easy, but Mal's gone too.
Jiks is truly alone now. It's Jiks' saddest day.
Oh, sorry, Jiks.
You just see him kind of slump down onto the floor.
And I know what a sad day is. I
Really
just
regret killing Mao.
put my hand on his shoulder. My hands on his shoulder.
Jiks has no friends now. Jiks will die alone on farm.
Does Jiks have us? And we just met. Have us.
You see him take a moment before pushing a button on the side of the truck. And you see railings kind of come up on the three sides. Jiks will take you to farm now.
I nod my head. Easy.
And he slowly climbs up onto the driver's seat. Krilla and Hattie climb up onto the bed of the truck. Take some seats together next to Marcuun by his head. What do the three of you want to do?
I jump on the truck. And find a spot for me to sit.
Yeah.
Is there room for two more?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I jump on.
Yep.
Grab Barnaby, put him on my lap.
Okay. Yeah. He gets in and turns the repulsor sled truck around, and you see him kind of in a language you don't recognize. Excuse me. Just kind of bark out an order at the droid, and two little droids kind of turn back into cylinders, which it picks up and puts back into the cavity in its chest. And then it starts to slowly trudge its way back to the farm as the truck kind of drives off. You get to the farmhouse, and it is a lovely establishment. There's a lot of care that's been taken into it. It looks to be 2 stories with what looks to be a basement. And as you arrive, you can see that there's some other farming droids that are kind of off to the side. Excuse me. But he gets out, and then he goes over, grabs a few of the droids, turns them on, and gives them orders. And one of them heads over towards one of these big, massive, shady trees that's off to the side from the entrance of this farm. And you see it start to dig a plot. And then the other ones kind of come over and very carefully pull out Marcuun from the truck. And they take him over to where this hole has been made by this tree for him. They gently lower him to the earth. And there's a somber moment as the earth is kind of pushed back into the hole and patted down. And Jiks goes over, and with this kind of laser pen, he just writes down, here lies a great friend, and just small symbols that you imagine mean something to him or to them or somebody. And then he just kind of stands there at the head of this plot as Krilla and Hattie kind of come over and hold hands with him. But there is a somber moment here.
I want to tune into the force around us. I feel like it's been a while since we've been near nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Make a sense roll.
Oh no, that's not good.
Mm-hmm. An 8 with a 1 on the wild die. When it rains, it pours. And excuse me. You stretch out, kind of letting go of the daily machinations of running this droid body. And you just give yourself over to the force. And as you reach out, all you sense is fear. And there's anger and frustration. And it's not derived from the melancholy. It's somewhere closer. And as you kind of try to narrow down, you can sense this serpentine presence of coldness that's kind of coiled itself around Dr. Shakti. And you can feel some of its tendrils kind of coiling around the base of where your droid body is. And you can even sense some of them stretching back towards the ship. And what you imagine is could be what has been eating at Silas. And then you just hear a voice that you've heard. I think you've heard it.
If it's the dark side cold boy voice, I don't think I've heard it recently, but I would say he's heard it before.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while. You imagined that Dr. Shakti must have I think you would have imagined that Dr. Shakti had the wherewithal to kind of purge it from their body, purge it from their mind, and then seeing that it's still kind of coiled around them, and now taking notice of you reaching out with the force, it kind of reaches back, and you see it as you kind of are pushing out and trying to caress the threads of the force in the galaxy around you. It starts to caress back, and you just hear, we all know where the finish line is for you.
Do we?
Let's just ride the wave, shall we?
I think you understand how possibilities work, my friend.
You hear a smirk, like just that kind of snicker of a smirk. I don't think you understand how much doubt your master had in you. Or maybe you do. It stinks on you.
Forgot what they called you then, but I can only remember it being an annoyance.
It's like, oh, yes. If only. Why don't you ignite your lightsaber and bat me away then? Oh, that's right. And then you just feel yourself pulsed out of the force. And just a quiet kind of echo of a laugh as your senses come back to you in the moment.
I just do a nice turn and look at the doctor.
There's a moment where you see another repulsor sled truck kind of make its way up the road. Excuse me. And you can hear what sounds like some people. They're rowdy. There's music coming from the truck. And as they pull up and see the kind of somber tone of what's happening here, the music dies out. And you see a couple of people come out from the cab, the driver, the passenger, and then you see them come around and pull a ramp free for the third member, who is a handicapped. They're in a kind of repulsor lift kind of wheelchair, and they kind of slide down the ramp. And as they come around, you see that the two humanoids that are able-bodied, one of them is a human, one of them is a Twi'lek. The Twi'lek kind of has bluish green skin with these very thick, kind of black outlined, hollow tribal tattoos that kind of come down one of the Leku, and then are matched on the opposite side. So if it's like the left Leku has the tattooing, the right side of the body has the tattoos. They kind of match. The human is an older male, long, tousled, kind of graying brown hair, thick kind of beard, just these very soft, kind of gray eyes. A bit of a dad bod, a little bit lumpy. And then there's a kind of ghost-like white-skinned male that has this tousled green short-kept hair and what looks to be the very beginnings of a green beard that is taking great pains to kind of keep. But it has a very familial resemblance to Dr. Shakti.
Yeah, do I recognize them?
Yeah,
Is it Ella and my brother?
it's Drox.
Oh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I run over. I put my arms around him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, oh, this is a surprise.
It sure is.
I was expecting Marcuun.
I was not expecting you.
And Edie and Flid see this exchange.
I look at Edie.
I say I'm sorry and start sobbing.
Yeah, and no, he holds your hand. He's like, hey, it's come on, that's water under the bridge. It's been so long. Have you seen Nella? She with you?
She's not. I haven't seen her.
Oh, I thought you two would be together. I haven't heard from her since. And you see him clear his throat. He's like, "Well, I mean, I haven't heard from anybody really. You're looking good. I'm glad you're okay.
Too.
There's so much to catch up on.
We do.
Yeah. I
But-
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
He looks up at the human. He's like, Atris, this is my sister. This is Xylas, who I told you about. And the older male kind of takes his hat off almost instantly. And he just kind of like nods his head respectfully. Oh, this is oof. I never. It is a pleasure to meet you. And kind of nods again. The Twi'lek goes over to Jiks and he kind of quietly asks what's going on.
I introduce Flid and Ed. This is my captain, Flid. This is my friend Ed.
Hello.
So you
This is my brother, Drox.
you're a captain.
Well, he's the captain of the ship.
You're muted. Like,
Doctor.
Slight detail of the captain.
oh,
Pleasure to meet you, Drox.
oh, I thought you would have made a home for yourself somewhere. This is gonna be awkward when you meet Aquila.
Doctor.
Yes, Ed.
Oh,
Are you from this planet?
No, I'm not.
And what
Hey,
an
we're not on
interesting what an interesting coincidence.
I concur. We've got lots to talk about.
but yeah, Drox, you'll be happy to know your sister has made a home for herself here. Thus, he's family.
Who did you say it was going to be awkward with? Out of character?
Aquila.
Keela. Do I know that? name?
No,
Okay.
no.
Oh.
Who's Aquila? Well, no, Flid was talking.
Uh, he looks over and he's just like, if you're staying with Jiks, I can come back later. But you're more than welcome to come to our farm. We have plenty of space for you and your friends.
If you want, Doctor, why don't you go hang out with your brother? And then the captain and I here can discuss some things with Jiks.
We'll go shock.
I mean,
Just go.
you sure? That's
I'm already pushing the doctor. I'm pushing the doctor.
thank you.
You don't need permission or anything. You know what? Captain is giving you a direct order. Go with your brother.
Very grateful for both of you.
I go up to Dr. Shakti. I'm grateful for you, Doctor.
The human kind of like sits there for a moment, puts his hat back on. He's like, well, I guess we're driving back to your farm then, Drox. He calls over. He's like, Silas, you gonna stay here? And the Twillick kind of nods. Like, all right, I'm gonna take this this little family reunion back to the Shakti estate. And Twillick kind of nods, and you see, he helps Drox back up onto the bed of the truck. He turns on some of the railings so you can sit with him if you want, and then this other truck takes back off in the direction that it came. Edie and Flid, you guys are standing still with the people, with Krilla, Hattie, Jiks, and now Xylas. And
What type of species is Jiks?
Gand,
Gand?
Gand.
Cute.
Yeah. Yeah. They have appeared in the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe the first appearance was in episode 4 in the bar in Mos Eisley. But yeah, you see Xylas kind of come over. He introduces himself to the two of you, to everybody that's there. But he kind of looks over at the two of you. He's like, "How do you know, Jiks?"
Just met him.
We just met Jiks.
He looks over at Jiks. They do not know then. And Jiks shakes his head. No. Jiks has not shared with them. It has been a sad day for Jiks.
Sorry to interrupt, but know what? Exactly.
And Xylas looks over at the two of you. He's like, "Are either of you Jedi?"
Why do you
I'm not a
ask?
Jedi.
Because what has been found here, it could lead to the destruction of the Jedi Council.
Look at Flid.
Look at Edie. What do you mean to the destruction of the Jedi Council?
There is some bases that have been found in the moons of Buntal that predate the current Republic. Recently, it has been found underneath our base, which is why the Republic has returned. that there is a vein of cortosis.
Dosis?
What was that?
Cortosis.
This cortosis?
He looks at you, he's like,
Have I heard of this?
no, not a lot of people.
I heard of this?
You might have because you spent your time in the libraries.
Yeah.
Make a scholar roll.
Scholar roll. That's 4 dice, my dude. 15.
Okay, yeah. You, as kind of Lid says it out loud in a questioning manner, you remember your own kind of questioning of this word back in your first run through the academy. And looking it up, you see that you remember looking at a file that explains how cortosis is one of the few metals that are incredibly brittle and hard to forge, but can be grafted through its through a powdery kind of uh, amalgam of sewing into clothing to create lightsaber resistant clothing. It goes back to a ritual that the Sith would employ to protect themselves from their students' sudden betrayals. But
Mhm.
Illis is like the metal is brittle. It is difficult to work with, but I have seen it. It can not only deactivate but almost destroy lightsabers. Something like this, it is the kind of thing that Jedi would not want getting out.
Look at Flid.
Look at Edie.
And then I kind of like tilt my head, kind of like, do I? Do
Like,
I?
like, I got my head. I'm like, turn back and look at him. So I'm saying that. I start thinking that out loud. Hopefully he hears me. Use the force or whatever it is you Jedi's do.
I pop out my lightsaber.
Okay. So the leg sheath,
Not what I was thinking.
the leg sheath opens, and he pulls out a lightsaber, and you see Illis kind of jump back and just kind of hold his hands up.
No, I'm not trying to attack.
I did
I'm
not.
just using this to show that I am a Jedi.
No, Edie, please put that away. There was no need for that.
Yeah, you see Illis kind of like take another step back. I did not mean to elicit this response. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I put it back. I put it away. Pop it back in.
Yeah, you see that he's still on edge.
Sorry about that.
I would
Were
not
you not
Yes.
saying to tell them?
I would not have shared this with you if I knew you had a Jedi among you.
No, I know. I'm very glad that you did. That you did.
Edie's not like other Jedi's, as you can see, and from this action that he just displayed right now. I just look at Edie.
But you are part of the Republic.
Oh,
Sort of. We're sort of against the Republic
But you are a Jedi.
of old. I'm. Oh, that's a good number. Let me get that number right.
like I said, Edie.
I'm 150 years old. I'm from a different republic.
I said Edie's now your typical Jedi. One of us. Uh, just a crew member, but he's family. The Zotzek.
I don't understand the relationship, but if you vouch for him,
Look at Edie. Don't regret this. Yes. Like I said, he's not just a crew member on my ship. He's family. He's one of us.
I understand. I will explain then once Jiks is ready. And as you kind of stand there, taking in the somber moment and the sun setting in the distance, we shift over to Shakti as they're talking to their brother, kind of hitting certain like easy topics, you know, uh, like where you've been, what you've been up to, who your crew is, like uh, why you left home, things like that. And as you pull up to a house, the driver kind of bangs on the roof of the truck, and the ramp kind of comes down, and Drox easily kind of slides down, and he's like, and the driver just kind of looks back. I'll let you know what happens with everything. And Drox kind of waves at him. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. And the truck pulls off. And then the door opens. You see a lithe young woman kind of standing there. The sides of her head are shaved down to a very kind of belty, almost buzz of a cut, but there's a long black hair that's kind of tied back in a braid. She has these very piercing green eyes. Uh, the hint of green kind of creeping around on her skin, but otherwise it is a very kind of simple off-white, almost alabaster or mother of pearl. And she looks to be drying her hands on her apron. She's otherwise got a simple kind of shirt and slacks. And then you hear, "Daddy!" And a little girl comes running out of the house. And maybe about 3 feet tall, she easily vaults the couple of steps that lead up to this front door, and she comes running over and kind of slides onto the top and gives him a huge hug. And he looks up at you as he hugs her, and he's like, "This is Aquila. This is your niece."
Hi, Aquila.
And she looks up and she kind of waves her hand, and she's like, "Hi, hi. You look
Hello.
like my daddy."
Yeah, I'm his sibling.
I don't know that word.
I'm related to him. He's my brother.
He's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna get a little brother," and immediately he just whaps the top of her head, and he's like, "Not if I can help it, thank you." And as one half of this group is out dealing with the sadness of having lost Marcuun, and you are dealing with the overwhelming joy of seeing your family expanding, this is where we're going to leave tonight's episode. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. As always, please continue to wear your masks. Please continue to keep your distance. Please continue to wash your hands. And please get yourselves vaccinated. And as always, I will be putting some telephone numbers in case you need to reach out and get yourself someone to talk to, some help if you need it. But just be aware that mental health is part of our general health, and it is important to kind of understand that there should be no stigma or taboo about it. So if you are a strong personality, do not be afraid to reach out. And if you're a friend of someone who has a strong personality or is always kind of like smiling and making people happy, please reach out to them, because a simple hello and a how are you can kind of change the trajectory of anyone's life. So please, please do not feel like mental health is a stigma or a taboo, and get yourselves the help that you need if you need it. And I will always vouch for you if you reach out and kind of want to talk to us in chat afterwards. I will try to make myself available after a stream. Otherwise, I will hopefully see you on Monday for our Camarilla chapter of our vampire game, or on Wednesday for our Legend of the Five Rings game, or if not, I will see you next Friday for our Star Wars game. Please be safe, and I will see you when I see you.